Where's like this part?
Okay. Are you don't have anything today?
4:55.
4:55, okay. So, as promised, for those of you that are interested in starting a small business, I always kind of wanted, when we first decided to have this class, I kind of wanted our students to get an idea of how to get a small business going. And so Tom Rosengarth from the business department has been willing to come over here for, this is the 4th year now, he's come over here and actually presented on this, to kind of give you some of the background about what you need. And I think you'll be surprised a little bit about what's required to get a small business off the ground. So even if you haven't really thought about entrepreneurship yet, maybe at some point in your life you do and you get a little bit of background into it. You know, if you've had me as an advisor, I've tried to get you to take classes over in that building. I know it's intimidating to take business and economics classes. But hopefully some of you have taken me up on that. At any rate, before we get going, we do have one announcement.
I got a job.
So we've had a couple good pieces today. So Whitney got a job, the other class, another person got into graduate school and got an internship next fall at Walt Disney World Resort down in Orlando. So a couple good pieces. Andrea, you want to tell us about where you were the other day?
I had an interview at Bath County Community Hospital. It went well, I think. I was a little sick and I didn't have a voice, so I called ahead of time, like went anyway. So I did the best I could with that. And they said they'd call me back in like a week. So a week will be Monday, so we'll see.
Okay. Okay, so good luck. We got our fingers crossed for it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to Tom. Tom, do you need overhead?
If I could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please. And so, if I could log on, I have a little show here. No, but while you're doing that, how about if I just pass out some things and maybe ask a question or two? Well, thanks for inviting me, gang. I always have fun coming over here, and especially this year because it's a really neat facility now. So congratulations with that. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Did you guys go to CrossFit this year as part of the planning, or?
No, we have not been over there. I'm taking a group next week actually to
Okay.
Rocktown.
Okay.
Not to Harrisonburg, but to Rocktown.
Okay, all right, so yeah, Harrisonburg does have 2. And, well, a lot of you have seen CrossFit, of course, and oftentimes the thought is, well, maybe I can start my own gym. It has the reputation of being the garage gym. When was it started? 2002, so it's only about 13 years old. A guy by the name of Greg Glassman decided that he's too old for gymnastics, but he's going to teach everybody else to do it. And so since it's popular and since it's, you know, to become an affiliate is a way to earn a few extra dollars, I thought, well, maybe this is something of interest to you. That sound good? Okay, all right. So what I did is to put together a few things for a business plan to start a garage gym. And I did a little bit of noodling around the internet to get some of the information. And I came today dressed in my jogging suit just to show that I'm one of the athletic guys. I jogged across the street so I didn't get the truck in the way there. So if I say anything untoward or something along those lines, you guys please correct me on the clinical side of fitness. The second time I run is when it rains to my car. Okay, now, these are some things that I picked up from the internet on CrossFit. There are enough affiliates out in the market now that there are some folks that have done very nice write-ups of what a CrossFit affiliate can expect to have. And what I did is to put together a let's see, Rob, I think I might have to log on as me on this one, sorry about that, and get to S Drive. I have put information on S Drive under the business department, and I will be glad to send that to you folks so that you can download some of the information. I have digital copies of all this stuff with some embedded links to things that I found, and so, you know, for anyone who's interested, they can download the files and check out the links that still seem to be pretty good.
While this is loading, so I don't know if you saw the show last night with Jerry Greenfield?
I did not, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you brought up the business plan. Could you define business plan for a lot of people?
Oh,
And then-
yeah. Well, you've heard the old adage, if you fail to plan, let's say that you're getting ready for a match or some type of meet, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail by default. Well, that goes with the business too. At the beginning of the year or at the start of your business, you plan what you want to do for your business, how many clients you want to have, what size facility that you need to service those clients, what equipment that goes in to that facility. And so you make a beginning of the year plan with people, the facilities, and your financing, and then you go about arranging to get the people, the facilities, and the finance. Okay, and what we're talking about today is the plan that gets you started, and it really drives all of your business activities. This represents your goal. If you're doing, you're getting ready for a track meet, the last thing that you want to do for the meet on Saturday is to run 8 hours on Friday. The training is inappropriate for 2 reasons. The timing is bad, it's too late, and the type of training that you do, well, it's not right for the sprints that you're going to run on Saturday. So a business plan up front gives you the right progression of training or business that you need to do before you actually start. Are there any particular questions that you guys have in mind as I start talking up here that I can address as we go through this stuff? Anyone thought of starting their own business, either physical therapy or CrossFit, or you just along for the ride just to see what it might be like? Let's pick option 3. Okay, and that's good too. That's very good too. Now, you guys see this well enough? Okay. Under the academic part of S-Drive, under the business and econ group, I've stuck into exercise 460, business plan, all the sheets that you have here. And if we would go to the business plan info, the sheet that you have is called the 7 CrossFit affiliate startup costs. I apologize, folks. I haven't used this computer, and when I pull things up, it doesn't quite set up like I had it over in Bowman Hall. So just give me a minute and I'll be rolling here in a second. That's either the case or I really am unfamiliar with what I'm doing and I'm killing time. So I'll leave it up to you. Okay, so like many CrossFits, you have to have the name CrossFit in a town. So since this is something that we were trying to conceptualize, we will be CrossFit concept here today. And one of the things that you have to realize when you first start a business is that you probably can't write a check for all the expenses that you have up front. I mean, gee whiz, if you were going to buy a new car, could you write a check or use your debit card to pay for the car? Okay, we have to get loans for it. So before you can get loans to support your business, you need to give the banker some information that will allow the banker to make a judgment, are you going to be able to run this business to pay back the loans? And the documents that I'm showing up here, is it okay if I turn off the light?
Yep.
The document, better sleeping? That better? Okay, all right. The document that I'm giving you guys here is part of the business plan, and it represents some of the startup expenses. And so if you could help me out and pass these guys out, I'd appreciate it. On your CrossFit sheets, it talks about the various startup expenses that you'll have, and this particular writer has this website called Start a Box. It's a CrossFit affiliate, and this individual has given you a lot of the information about the major costs. And the thing to keep in mind is that the average facility for CrossFit is spending somewhere between $500,000 or up to $500,000 to get started. So some of them are very sophisticated in what they are doing. And here are the 7 top costs in CrossFit. The first one is an affiliation fee. If you are associated with any particular gym, whether it is Planet Fitness or a CrossFit gym or any other commercial gym that has many locations, you will have to buy what's called an affiliation fee, which allows you to use their logos, their brand image, some of their instructional plans, and maybe even site location plans. Oftentimes that's a one-time fee, and for CrossFit it's $3,000 to become an affiliate. Many of them have a recurring fee every year to go on top of that. And some of them even have a kicker. If you have, let's say, over $50,000 in revenues, you have to pay them 2% above $50,000. So when you pick your facility, make sure that you understand how much of your revenues will go to the franchisor. And so here's what I'd like to do in the sheets that you guys have. If you have pencils and so forth, let's see if we can fill out a real business plan, and you'll have something that you can give to the banker. That's the idea. We're going to do a business plan here in 40 minutes, real quick. Okay, so we're going to figure out our startup expenses for a CrossFit gym. And as we do that, do you have any figures in mind? Just shout out a couple figures. What does it cost to start a CrossFit gym? Okay, you haven't thought about it, but okay, all right. Throw out a number. You've seen the pictures, right? On the Reebok commercials, you've seen the interior of the CrossFit gym. You've gone to the place in Ohio, Road Fitness, and seen their gyms. How much do you think that might cost? Out of hand, shout out a number. I shouldn't have worn my jogging suit. That's my problem. Okay, so under the CrossFit affiliation fee, let's just put the $3,000 fee. $3,000 affiliation fee. Okay, second item.
And that's just to use the name CrossFit.
That's just to use the name CrossFit. So all that you have are rights. No building, no weights, no rower, no employees, no whiteboard. You just have the rights to use the name CrossFit. That cost you $3,000. Okay, and underline this word recurring. Every year to be a CrossFit gym, you're paying Greg Glassman $3,000. Like I said, he's a retired gymnast, and when you pay this, you're helping his retirement. That's every year. Okay, now, the second thing is kind of interesting. It's insurance. We don't have any weights, facilities, employees, or whiteboard yet. This guy's talking about insurance. How come? Well, it's because you get guys like me that come into the CrossFit gym in my jogging suit and want to know how to do CrossFit. And so I have no idea what those bowling balls are with handles, what the heck you do with those things. And I like pink. You know, that's the kind of weights I lift. If it's bigger than a fork, it's heavy for me. So you have your job in not only making sure I know what's going on, but that I don't get hurt. Because I run into things and I, you know, fall down and I trip over bowling balls with handles on them. And you know what? Sometimes folks, not me, but other folks might get mad. And they call their favorite friend, sue. And that's what happens to you. Litigation is part of any gym. And so as you go into business, be aware that if you're dealing with the public, you have to address all the issues that go with the public, and it can be very expensive if someone gets in your gym, even a high school athlete or college athlete in their 30s, 10 years after their peak shape, they decide they're going to do the same thing that they did in the gym when they were 22, they're now 35. They call Uncle Rabdo pretty quickly with things like that. So you want to make sure that you are covered with insurance in case you have a client like that that comes in despite the best intentions that you have and overdoes it and takes it out on you. So insurance is a cost with that, and there are two types of insurance that you can deal with. One is the general facilities insurance. If you're in a shopping mall, or even a place like CrossFit Rocktown, they're in a little strip mall there, someone's walking in front of your CrossFit store, it's not a CrossFit person. It's a new mom with her child, and someone comes running around or with their car and parking and squeals the wheels. It startles her, and all of a sudden, you know, she runs the carrier off the curb, and the child comes out and bumps his or her head. Okay, it's on your sidewalk, and so they're going to try to get compensation for that. That's general liability insurance. And depending on the size of your facility, there are various fees for that. And you know, to give you an idea of what some of the costs are, this particular gym was 651 square feet, and the quote that they got for $1 to $2 million of coverage was about $950 a year. If you have a facility, in my opinion, it is foolish not to have at least $1 million of insurance coverage. And so let's say for the liability coverage that we would add $1,000 to the amount here as our budget for a year. Okay, and that would be for a facility about 650 square feet. Okay, now in addition to that, whether you are a Zumba trainer, or whether you're a CrossFit trainer, or whether you do yoga, you are giving advice, and people are relying on your advice as a professional. You may give the best advice in the world, but some folks, like me, I have big ears, but I hear very little sometimes, just don't get it right away. Okay, and if I go home and practice what CrossFit teaches me, I may practice it incorrectly, and I come back on you as a trainer. So most of the trainers will have insurance in addition to the general liability insurance for the facility. And so here's a website that is a CrossFit entity, and it should be coming up here very quickly. There it is. Now here are different types of pricing, and these are reasonable estimates. You know, let's say for yourself, it would cost you $229 a year if you spend more than 20 hours in your in your facility a year. Well, gee whiz, you have a facility, you're bringing people in, you're probably going to have help, and so maybe you're going to have some part-time people come in too. Volunteers or not, these folks need to be insured. So if you have 5 people working with you, volunteered or paid, you're paying $200 a year in insurance. And so how many people do you want to work in your CrossFit facility?
5.
Okay, 5, all right, so times 200, let's say that would be another $1,000. So let's add $1,000 here for CrossFit liability. Okay. No building, no weights, no rower, no whiteboard. Okay, so to do business in a strip mall, especially if you're in town, you need to ask permission. Every location is going to have a Mother May I clause for doing business. You have to go to City Hall and ask permission to get a business permit. Usually those fees vary on the type of town that you go to. If you do it in Bridgewater or Harrisonburg, fees are very, very light. It's very business friendly. If you go to a larger place like Richmond or New York or Northern Virginia, a lot of people want to do that, and so they are able to raise some high fees. And so the fees can range anywhere from, well, you can see the values there, $1,000 to $10,000 to get the permit to do the facility. And if we would go to Harrisonburg, just to show you how friendly it is in this particular area. This is the Harrisonburg, Virginia website for the town itself, and you would be providing essentially a personal business service. So that would be anything from dry cleaning to hair cutting to the type of things that you guys are going to be doing. 20 cents per $100 of receipts. So what you would do is to budget, like we are right now, what your revenues would be, and then when you go down to City Hall, you write that budget number down, and they will charge you 20 cents for every $100. Okay, so that would be .002 for every dollar that you report. Okay, so for business expenses, we haven't figured that out yet, so let's just leave that one blank. Finally, let's get a building. It's about time. And then, I mean, we've been just talking about rights and spending money. Let's get something we can look at. So we get a property manager, a realtor, and they take us around to the different warehouses or office space, and they suggest different sizes. Oh, by the way, what size facility would you like to have? I mean, think about the gyms that you would like to go to. How many feet, let's say width by length, that you would like to have? Go ahead, take a shot.
I don't know, like 300 by 250.
Okay, all right, so we have almost a football length, and so you could do wind sprints, you can push the sleds, do the ropes, the whole bit. So there are a lot of different activities that could happen in a facility of that size. Okay, so 300 by 250. Okay, so that would be 75, and we want to put a few zeros next to that. So that would be 75,000 square feet. Okay? Okay, so I mean that's a real nice facility. That's almost like Niagara Hall, and so that's one that you want to go with. Okay, so let's see what business rent would be in Harrisonburg, and keep in mind that's a Class 2 city with about 44,000 people in it. And so this is the LoopNet, which is a realtor site for business property in Harrisonburg. And so just making that a little bit bigger, this is office space. Warehouse space is a little bit less expensive, but let's take a look at some of the places that you have here. This is a retail space that's right near where Rocktown is. It's tough to see, but if you could picture from the road, they're shooting down the hill. And the CrossFit facility would be, this little space right here. And they're saying that the rent is based on square footage. What's that number? 12? Okay, so that's $12 a square foot per year. Okay, so we would take 12 times 75,000, and that would be our rent. Okay, so we're almost at $1 million in rent. Maybe we should start a little bit smaller. Okay, so yeah, okay, and so these are some of the things you have to consider. What you would like, and then what you can afford. Okay, so how big is this room?
Very good footage.
15 by 25?
50 or so, yeah.
Okay, all right, so would this be big enough to do CrossFit in?
With 5 people hired.
Okay, well, let's start small. Let's say 5 people, okay? So
No, like you said that we hired 5 people.
well, I mean, that was an idea, so maybe we don't hire 5 people for a space this big. Okay? So what we're doing, we're business planning, and part of business planning is you gotta chase your dreams. I mean, if you're going to start a CrossFit gym, you really like this stuff. I mean, you like the environment, you like the people that are energized to go to the gym, and this is what you want to do for a living. And so you're following that particular dream. Guys like me come in their jogging suit and say, well, okay, let's temper that dream a little bit. And that's what we're doing right here. We're thinking, boy, we want to start with something that's really big. Well, maybe not quite so big. And so let's start with a space this size. Okay, so you have, what did we say, 25 by 30? All right, so let's go with 750 square feet. And we want to multiply that by $12 per square foot. And so just doing that.
It's 9,000.
Okay, all right, so 9,000 would be the cost. And let's divide that by 12, okay, that per month. And so that's going to be about $750. Okay, so let's go back and put in the facilities rent. Most landlords ask you to pay first, and then they let you rent the space, right? You know, they don't let you use it first and then collect rent at the end of the month. You pay up front. Actually, they want 2 months rent, the first and the last month's rent, because in case you damage something or you leave early, they have at least 1 month's rent from you to fix the place up and get another renter. And so to start out, instead of having just $750, we'll have $1,500 as the amount of costs for rent. This might be a little bit on the low side for rent, but okay, like I said, we're starting small with a easy facility to handle. If you're doing CrossFit, you can't use the name CrossFit unless you're certified. And anyone certified for CrossFit here? It costs $1,000, and you have to do that every 3 years. So before you can become a CrossFit facility, you have to pay Greg Glassman another $1,000 to use his name. Okay, so there's another $1,000. You guys have all gone to the CrossFit websites, right? I jumped on CrossFit Rocktown, I took a look at CrossFit Harrisonburg in downtown, went to CrossFit Virginia Beach, I went to CrossFit Nova. There are a lot of them out there. They all have websites, and they all have folks that are doing things, and they post their workouts to the day, and they link to the Greg Glassman site. You gotta have a computer. You gotta have your own website for this. Know anyone that can do that for you? You know, make friends with folks in McKinney so that they can design the website for you. Okay, you know, if not, you either do GoDaddy or you actually get a professional to do that. And there's one particular site, designquote.net, that allows you to do that. And let's just see here very quickly. Here are the different things that we would want on our website. Okay, I'm not used to this guy. How do we get rid of these? Okay, well, if I push something, we'll things that Okay, all right. Well, all right. So let's go with this as best we can. Okay, that's not exactly what I want to do. Okay, you know what you're dealing with. Just roll with it. Okay. All right. So what best describes you? I need to hire a web designer. Yeah, I can't do this obviously. Best website needs. I need a brand new website that I can edit because you need to post the workout of the day. Graphics. Okay, you're going to take pictures with your camera and post them to Facebook or the website. And yeah, I will need a copy of this myself, and yeah, I'm going to add the content myself. Hey, heck with having them do it. And what do you want to do with your website? Do you want to collect dues? Have folks use their credit card through your website? Or do you just want them to look and say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and pay? Well, let's say that we register members here, at least from the site. You want them to search the site. You want them to email you with this. And, oh yeah, every CrossFit has a discussion forum, okay? You're going to send them advice, you know, where you've seen some of these folks that stand in front of the camera and they demonstrate exercises. You want to do that too? Yeah, okay, all right, so.
Can we put Google
So you can get there, okay, there you go, all right, so we'll do that. And we want credit card and PayPal paying, we want a photo gallery, and let's see here. We don't need any of the higher level routing stuff, but we do have a Twitter and Facebook page, and yeah, we do want the phone app on there. Okay, so let's see how much, ooh. Okay, so that's how much it's going to cost to design the website. Maybe not so much of those features, and the feature that costs the most with any of these is the e-commerce. And so if you take off the e-commerce, well, that was the biggest feature, but it's still a pretty good size expense. If you start out very modestly and just have a website where you can post pictures, it might cost you about $1,000. Play with the design, and you'll be able to come to a number that fits you pretty well. Okay, you're going to be in a building. People are going to want to have something to drink. You're going to have a men and women's restroom facility. You're going to have electric utilities. You're going to have heat. And all of these require deposits. You have to pay a month or two up front. If you have sewage in your particular facility to take care of that, you have to have a tap-in fee and so forth. Very quickly, let's just say that that's going to cost about $600. I have a couple of links here that will show you, where you can go in Harrisonburg for that type of detail. You also want to have a phone that you can use to take your pictures or do your videos and upload. So you want some type of Verizon or Sprint package. How much does it cost to have a cell phone a month? That's not on your parents' plan. 90, 100 bucks, or some of the better ones, or a lot of data. If you're streaming data, $139. Okay, let's round that out to $100 a month. So let's say that that's going to be $1,200. Well, yeah, $1,200 for phone. Okay. Supplies for your gym. You're going to have towels to wipe out the floor when the folks are done doing their CrossFit Metcon stuff. You're going to have markers for your whiteboards. You're going to have cleaning facilities to make sure that when every class is done, the sweat is wiped off, things and so forth. So you're going to have a minimum amount of supplies, $50 a month. Okay, so let's say that comes to $600. Feeling pretty good about things? You probably want some help. We scared the heck out of you with the insurance part, and now we're doing the heavy numbers, and maybe we ought to get this right. You're going to have to fill out a new tax return instead of the short form that you do, the 1040EZ or the 1040A. You're going to have something called a Schedule C for corporation, and you're probably going to have to incorporate before you do that, a limited liability corporation, so you need an accountant and an attorney. And so that time doesn't come inexpensively. And so let's say that you spend 5 hours talking to these individuals at $100 an hour for their time. So let's say that that's another $500. So when you add all those expenses together, that means it's costing you about $11,000 to start out. Okay? Wait a minute, what do we have? We have a building. There ain't nothing in it. We gotta go buy the gym stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go to Rogue Fitness Equipment. Okay, yeah, oh, gee whiz, we gotta have a floor. I'm not gonna do CrossFit on this. My knees bruise easily, so we're gonna have some good gym flooring, right? And so, gee whiz, how much does a gym floor cost? If you would go to various gym flooring, it might cost you $40 a square foot. Okay, so we have 750 square feet, so we're paying, $30,000 for a floor. Okay, so that's a lot. I went to Tractor Supply and got the horse mats. They're 4x6. They cost about $40 a piece. Round up for 50 for trim and so forth. And so You know, I figured this for a 900-foot square foot gym, but let's say 750 times 50 for this one. Okay.
It'll be less, 'cause
And
you're
divide
doing
that
4
by the 24 square feet, 4 by 6. Okay, so that's about $1,600 for the mats. You need whiteboards and markers and chairs, and you probably want to have some reception area that you can stand beside and talk to the customers and so forth, so you'll have that custom built. And so you have some additional costs, let's say $500 for that. And you want to have some type of CrossFit design. Someone is going to paint on your murals. I noticed all the websites, you know, they have an image there for CrossFit. And so you got to pay someone to do that. And let's say that there are a few more costs that go along there, $150 for that, for painting and upkeep, another $200 for the mural. And so, gee whiz, we have another $2,400 of improvements. We're not done, because we have to get the gym equipment. And so let's say that we want to start the gym with 5 people, you know, a 5-person kit. Okay, and if we would go to Rogue Fitness, have you guys been to that site? You know, anyone not been to, okay. Okay, my pop-up's not going there, but, RogueFitness.com is a place out of Columbus, and they have various CrossFit gym equipment, and they have a special place for CrossFitters. And they have various packages, some of which are, if you go to page like 5 or 6, you can see the different CrossFit packages that are available to use. And okay, I have some equipment lists from the CrossFit site, and a starter package for one individual is about $800, and the package for a 5-person affiliate is about $7,500. And that includes what you see here, some dumbbells, some of the rubber plates, kettlebells, you have some rings, even includes a rower and some ab mats. That's about $7,500. And let's say that you buy a couple of other things. Let's round up to $8,000 of gym equipment. Okay? And if you can get some of that used, so much the better. And let's say that we buy some more furniture and fixtures, we spend another $1,500. And so the total equipment that we'll have in our gym will come to about $10,500. Okay, so we're ready, yeah, we're in business now, right? Okay, so let's see how much in total this is going to cost. Let's summarize some of our expenses. Okay, we put in about $2,400 for our lease. You know, we're renting this place for roughly $750, $1,000 a month. We put in another $2,400 for leasehold improvements. We buy $10,000 plus in gym equipment. Just to get in the facility, we're spending over $11,000. Oh, we haven't advertised yet. I didn't mention that. I mean, no one's going to come to your doors if you don't let them know about it, right? So where are you going to advertise? Probably the radio station and the newspaper, in addition to Twitter and Facebook. Word of mouth, not so good. You need to do word of mouth, but you need to do something else. And so I went to the Daily News Record, which is the Harrisonburg newspaper, and Steve Turner was very nice to talk with me about that, and he had Kathy Harpine send some advertising rates, and the Daily News Record hasn't changed their advertising rates since January 1, 2014. And here are some of the advertising rates that they have. It's based on the number of impressions that you have and the size of the impression that goes into the paper and the number of times that it appears. And so there are various packages that you have. You can pick one that would seem to work for you. And you want to have a presence at least once a week. And so I picked the most modest package, which was about $21 for 50 exposures. And so you're doing this about once a week, so you're spending $1,000 in advertising. Most CrossFit gyms have a sign outside, some elaborate, some not so elaborate. And I went to Muddy Feet in Harrisonburg, it's up near Rocktown, and looked at some of their signs, one that withstands the winds that come through Harrisonburg. It's about $1,000, and that's not one of the most expensive ones. And then Jim Britt from WSVA talked to me and said, you know what we do for many of our small businesses is to do a remote location. They do it to the farmer's market downtown, they've done it to various shops downtown. They have a remote location, they talk to the owner, and they do the whole show there. You have the WSVA bus that rolls up, and that's a day's worth of advertising. Okay, that costs about $1,100. Okay, so that launches your business, and so your startup costs are about $27,000. Okay, we're not quite done yet. Because after we do all the startup expenses, we are going to have some monthly expenses that go along with that. And you're going to have a partner, someone that you're going to hire. And let's say that you hire someone part-time, 20 hours a week, to do maybe some bookkeeping, some cleaning, and maybe to help out with the CrossFit gym. Pay that individual $10.50 an hour, that's a $10,000 payroll. You got to pay payroll taxes in addition to that. When you get your W-2s, you have federal, state, FICA, Social Security tax taken out. Social Security is an equal opportunity tax. You pay 7.65%, the employer pays 7.65%, plus a couple of other things. And so you're going to have to pay another $1,000 to that. Okay, let's add up some of the monthly expenses that go along with some of these things. We have some expensive utilities that go on month by month. We said that's about a $1,200 a month fee. Long story shorter, it's going to cost us about $37,000 a year to run this facility in here. Okay? We're forgetting somebody. You. Okay, you haven't been paid yet. Okay, you guys are coming out of Bridgewater. You're worth something. You paid Bridgewater a pretty hefty fee for 4 years to get to be a professional. So as a professional, what are you guys worth? That's a serious question. What are you worth? Is it $20,000 a year? Is it 30? Gee whiz, $35,000. North of that is an average salary that most folks get coming out of Bridgewater. Between $35,000 and $50,000 a year is a pretty good spread. That's for a wage. You guys have your own business and you have risk. And so you want to even do more. Okay, so Gesundheit. You have to factor in your own wages with that. And so add $50,000 to that. That means your facility has to bring in at least $87,000, okay? Okay, all right. And here's one thing that I'll add to this. Put a circle around this reserved for contingencies. What's a contingency? Contingency, something that might not work really well. When you open your doors, are you going to have a flood of people waiting to get in? Probably not. It's going to take a couple months to build up your particular business. And so most business advisors recommend at least 3 to 6 months operating expenses in cash before you start. A reason that most businesses fail, and about 7 out of every 10 businesses that start don't make it past 5 years. And the number one reason why they do not is because they don't have enough cash reserves. They don't have their 3 to 6 months. And so when we figured on the previous sheet how much cash we need, about $37,000. Okay, you figure that's about $1,200 a month. Okay, so how many, $1,200, that's $3,000 a month. Okay, we want 3 months, so that's at least $9,000. Take it to 6 months. Okay, that's about $18,000 that you want to add to that. And so if you're going to live on your gym full-time, the reserve, should be 3 to 6 months of cash. And based on our CrossFit gym, that is between $9,000 and $18,000. And let's round that to, I don't know why this isn't working, $15,000. Okay. And that's added to your startup expenses. So your startup, you should have lines of credit of about $42,000. Plan to cover costs of about $37,000, and then add on what you would like to make for that particular business. Yes, ma'am, you had a question? Or I thought there was a question. Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
From this, how do you know what to charge?
Okay, yeah, all right. Great question. Well, let's see. We have to cover expenses. Okay, roughly $37,000. That's before your profit, okay? How many people do we have in our CrossFit gym? We said 5, right? What's the going rate for CrossFit? And anyway, and you guys go to CrossFit?
Would it be just like a gym membership?
It's about 4 times the gym membership right now, so it's about $150 a month or so.
Okay, yeah, and, depending on whether you're a military veteran, an old guy like me, or whatever, yeah, anywhere between $90 and $150
Why
a
is
month.
it so much more?
Small groups, lots of hands-on.
Yeah, personalized training, and it has an image. Just like Nike shoes cost more than Skechers. Okay, Nike Plus is what CrossFit is. And you pay $10 a month for Planet Fitness, $100 for CrossFit, you better get something more. Okay, so you have 5 people, and you charge $100 a month, so how much is that for each one? $500 a month times 12 months a year, $6,000, okay? All of a sudden, 5 people in our gym won't cut it. And so we're going to have more hours, maybe bigger facilities, and go from there. Okay, so if you have anything less than 10, you're probably a part-timer at CrossFit. Okay? Didn't mean to scare you, it's great. There are a lot of very, very successful CrossFit gyms. But if you go into the gym, there are 2 things that you have to keep in mind. You need to be obsessed with making it a success. It's like going to the playoffs. You have to have that type of competitive mentality to make your business run. And the second thing is, guys like me who come in and visit a CrossFit gym and try to bowl with those things, with the handles, we may not stick around very long. So you are always selling. Every person that comes into the gym, you want to sell them a membership. And so being good at sales is another important thing. Thanks, gang. Appreciate it. I hope I gave you some good information. This is a serious offer. If you ever start a facility or thinking about starting a facility, please let one of us know, and we'll be very happy to sit with you and talk to you about your plans and some of the other things that you have in mind, and we can give you our opinion on it. So, hang in there. Finals are coming, please.
Just a disclaimer, I know a lot of the times you look at some of the fees that lawyers charge or the accountants charge. I promise you that paying the fees and having those people on your side to find things you didn't know about easily outweigh the fees they charge. And so while the fees may be high, be willing to pay them, because they will come back on you several-fold. And if you talk to small business owners, they will tell you the same thing. Okay?
Thanks for inviting. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.